the warning you never heard. You wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you drink your coffee, you check your phone. But there's something else happening, something you can't see. Your prostate is trying to tell you something. John was 45, healthy, successful, didn't smoke, rarely drank, worked out 3 times a week. But one morning, he noticed something strange. He couldn't urinate smoothly. There was pressure and a dull, aching pain that kept returning. He had done everything right, except for one thing. He ignored the quietest signal his body was sending for years. And he's not alone. Over 90% of men after the age of 40 are walking around with a biological time bomb inside their body without knowing it. Not because they're lazy, not because they're unhealthy, but because they believed something dangerous that looked like common sense. So here's the truth. Is there a hidden link between ejaculation frequency and prostate health? Could masturbation, a topic most men avoid, be the one habit that silently protects you for decades? In this video, I'm going to walk you through the science your doctor probably never mentioned. Not because they're hiding it, but because society still avoids this conversation. If you're ready to finally hear your body speak, keep watching. What you learn in the next 20 minutes could change the next 30 years of your life. Part 2, understanding the prostate, the most ignored gland in a man's body. Let's break the silence. What exactly is your prostate? It's not just another organ. It's a small gland about the size of a walnut, but with one of the most powerful roles in your entire reproductive system, located just below your bladder. The prostate produces the fluid that protects and carries your sperm. But that's only the beginning. The prostate is like a smart filter. It manages pressure, it manages hormone balance, and it controls the release of one of the most complex fluids your body creates. But here's the problem. No one teaches men how to take care of it. We're told how to brush our teeth, how to stretch our back, how to eat for heart health. But the prostate, it's treated like a taboo. And that silence comes at a cost. Because over time, especially after 40, this little gland starts to show wear and tear. If left ignored, it becomes inflamed, enlarged, or even damaged. And the symptoms can sneak up on you: frequent urination at night, weak stream, pressure in your lower abdomen, low sexual energy, anxiety you can't explain. Sound familiar? Most men think these are just normal signs of aging. They're not. They're warning signs, and they're preventable. The truth is simple. Your prostate doesn't need surgery. It needs understanding, and just like any engine, it runs best when it's cleaned, used, and maintained regularly. Part 3, the changes after age 40. Your prostate starts to whisper. Something happens after you turn 40. It's not loud. It doesn't come with alarms. But slowly, quietly, your prostate begins to change. Think of it like a high-performance engine that's been running for 2 decades. At first, it hums. Then one day, it starts to rattle just a little. The hormones that once kept your prostate balanced, like testosterone, begin to drop. At the same time, another hormone called DHT begins to rise. DHT, or dihydrotestosterone, is one of the main culprits behind prostate enlargement. Too much of it for too long, and the gland starts to swell. But that's not all. The muscles around your prostate weaken. The ducts that carry fluid begin to clog. Blood flow decreases. And what was once a clean, well-oiled system becomes stagnant, thick, inflamed. And you start waking up 2 or 3 times a night to pee. You feel pressure in your pelvis. You might even avoid intimacy because something just feels off. But here's the truth. These changes aren't inevitable. They're predictable. And if they're predictable, they're preventable. The problem is most men ignore the early whispers until those whispers become a scream, until their doctor says, your PSA levels are high, or worse, we found something suspicious. But what if you didn't have to wait for that conversation? What if there was a way to intervene early naturally without pills, surgery, or shame? Part 4. The truth medical textbooks don't tell you. Let me say something bold. Most medical textbooks don't tell the full story, not because they're wrong, but because they were written for disease treatment, not prevention, and prevention real, daily. Biological maintenance is something men are rarely taught. Now, here's what I discovered during clinical research. Men who maintained regular sexual activity, whether with a partner or through self-stimulation, had markedly better prostate health than those who didn't. Why? Because every time you ejaculate, a powerful biological process is triggered. You're not just releasing fluid, you're releasing pressure, you're clearing blocked duct, you're reducing inflammation, you're flushing out potential carcinogens from the gland. Think of your prostate like a pump system. If you never run it, it rusts. If you overrun it, it overheats. But when you use it consistently just enough, it stays clean, efficient, and balanced. Still don't believe it. Let's look at the science. A Harvard University study tracked over 29,000 men. They found that men who ejaculated 21 times or more per month had a 33% lower risk of developing prostate cancer compared to those who did it less frequently. That's not a small difference. That's the kind of result most drugs only dream of. And yet, how often do doctors talk about this with their male patients? Almost never. Because there's stigma, because it's uncomfortable, because masculinity still lives behind closed doors. But your health should never be sacrificed to silence. Part 5. 3 men, 3 outcomes. When habits define your future. Let me share 3 real stories. 3 men, same age group, but completely different outcomes. Case 1. Robert, age 58, successful entrepreneur. Great career, great shape, but he hadn't had any sexual release with a partner or alone for over 6 months. He thought it was normal at his age. I thought his focus should be elsewhere. Then came the symptoms: chronic pelvic pressure, interrupted urination, mood swings, sleep problems. His PSA levels were rising. The diagnosis: prostate congestion, a condition that could have been prevented with a simple, natural routine. Case 2. Min, age 62, divorced, lived alone, but he maintained a steady routine of self-stimulation 2 to 3 times a week. He also walked daily, ate clean, and drank plenty of water. At his last checkup, his urologist said, "You have the prostate health of a 40-year-old. Min smiled and said, "I take care of it because no one else will." Case 3. The twins, David and James. Age 53. Zomogenous. Same childhood, but different beliefs. David embraced natural maintenance. He believed in honoring his body's needs. James didn't. He said it was immature, unnecessary, and weird at his age. 10 years later, David has no symptoms. James is on medication and struggles with intimacy, anxiety, and bladder control. The lesson: what you do or don't do in silence, echoes loudly in your future. This isn't about shame. It's about ownership. Because prostate health isn't a matter of luck. It's a reflection of how well you've been listening to your body's most silent voice. Part 6. The science of release. What really happens when you ejaculate? Let's go beneath the surface and uncover what really happens inside your body during ejaculation. Because most men only know the sensation, but almost no one understands the function. Here's the truth. When you reach climax, your prostate doesn't just squeeze out fluid. It activates a precisely timed muscle contraction like a mini pressure washer inside your pelvis. This muscular sequence clears the ducts. It flushes out stagnation. It pushes out old, thick, inflammatory fluids, and it makes room for new, nutrient-rich secretions. Think of it like changing the oil in your car. You don't do it because the car feels bad. You do it to prevent the engine from breaking down, and here's where it gets even more powerful. Every ejaculation causes a temporary drop in DHT, the very hormone responsible for prostate enlargement. That drop gives your gland a brief but powerful break from hormonal stress. It also triggers a surge in feel-good neurochemicals like dopamine and oxytocin, which help reduce inflammation and improve sleep quality. So you're not just feeling better, you're healing on a cellular level. And yet, when this system goes unused week after week, month after month, the opposite happens. Ducts clog, pressure builds, fluid stagnates, and over time, problems begin. Part 7. The ideal frequency by age. How much is enough? So now the question is, how often should you do it? What's the right number? Because yes, frequency matters. Too little, and your prostate becomes stagnant. Too much, and your system can get exhausted. Here's what clinical research and patient outcomes have shown. Ages 40 to 50. Aim for 3 to 4 times per week. This keeps hormone levels balanced and ducts clear. It's the sweet spot for most men at peak biological function. Ages 50 to 60. Reduce slightly 2 to 3 times per week. Why? Because your body is starting to slow down metabolically. But regular activity still prevents buildup and inflammation. Ages 60 and above. At least once or twice a week minimum. Consistency becomes more important than quantity. Even low frequency is better than complete inactivity. Think of your prostate like a water pump. Leave it dry too long, it rusts. Overwork it, it burns out. But use it regularly and it stays smooth, clean, efficient. Let me say this clearly. There is no shame in maintaining a private routine. In fact, it may be the simplest and most natural prevention plan you'll ever follow. If you've gone months or years without this activity, start slow. Listen to your body. Let it recalibrate. This isn't about performance. It's about protection. Part 8. Beyond the prostate. Full body benefits you never expected. Let's be clear, this routine isn't just about one gland. When you take care of your prostate, in your entire body benefits. Here's what happens when you maintain a healthy release cycle. Better sleep. Each ejaculation triggers a natural drop in cortisol, your body's main stress hormone. It also boosts oxytocin and prolactin neurochemicals that help you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. That's why many men feel deeply relaxed afterward. It's not just in your head. It's biological. Lower stress. Sharper mood. Regular activity balances your nervous system. It releases built-up tension from the pelvic floor, an area where men store enormous emotional stress. You feel lighter, calmer, more in control. Many men report reduced anxiety and sharper emotional clarity within weeks of starting a consistent routine. Sand. Improved circulation. The rhythmic muscle contractions during ejaculation stimulate fresh blood flow, not just to the pelvis, but throughout the lower body. That circulation boost helps with nutrient delivery, waste removal, and long-term tissue health. Sick. Stronger pelvic muscles. Think of it as a workout. Each ejaculation engages the pubococcygeus muscle, a key player in urinary control and sexual function. Over time, this keeps your lower body firm and reduces the risk of incontinence or erectile fatigue. So no, this isn't just a pleasure habit. It's a powerful, self-regulated healing mechanism. And yet, most men are told to ignore it, to be ashamed of it, to let it fade. But silence has a cost, and now you know what that cost looks like. Part 9, Lifestyle Integration. Building a prostate-safe life. Let's take everything you've learned and turn it into a lifestyle, because prostate health isn't just about frequency. It's about consistency, context, and support. Here's how to build a daily life that protects your prostate naturally and long-term. Anti-inflammatory diet. Your prostate hates chronic inflammation, so feed it right. Add more. Tomatoes rich in lycopene, berries antioxidants, green tea anti-inflammatory, omega-3s found in walnuts, flaxseed, salmon. Avoid processed meats, fried food, excessive dairy, and alcohol. They fuel inflammation silently. Pelvic floor exercise. Yes, men need Kegels to contract, hold, release. This strengthens the muscles that support your prostate, bladder, and sexual function. Just 5 minutes a day can transform your pelvic health. Pair that with walking or light cardio to increase blood flow. Sand, hydration, and detox. Drink 8 glasses of water a day minimum. Not sodas, not energy drinks, just clean water. Hydration flushes toxins and keeps your fluids moving, not stuck. Sit. Stress management. Mental stress equals physical tension. And guess where men store most of that tension? The pelvic floor. Try this once a day. Deep breathing, stretching your hips, 10 minutes of silence. It's simple, but powerful. Woo. Checkups without shame. Starting at age 40, get your PSA levels checked once a year. It's not just for old men, it's for smart men, and it could save your life. This is how you build a prostate-strong lifestyle. By combining knowledge with action, with rhythm, and with respect for your body's natural systems. Part 10, the emotional transformation. When men reclaim their health, let's talk about something most doctors skip. The emotional side of prostate health, because this isn't just about biology. It's about identity, confidence, manhood, aging. When men face changes in their sexual health, they often stay silent. Not because they don't care, but because they feel embarrassed, confused, or afraid of what it means. I've met men in their 50s and 60s, successful, respected, who feel like they're failing as men just because their body is changing. Let me be clear. Your value is not in performance. It's in awareness, responsibility, courage. Because when you understand what your body is asking for and you answer that call, something shifts. You stop hiding. You start owning. You stop fearing age. And you start embracing strength through knowledge. Take Robert, one of my patients. He was 58, strong, stoic, respected in his field. But Secretly, he was ashamed of how distant he'd become from his own body. He avoided intimacy, avoided doctor visits, avoided mirrors. But the day he decided to understand, not judge his prostate, everything changed. He started a simple weekly routine. He improved his diet. He got moving again. And 3 months later, he told me, I feel like I'm in my 40s again. Not because I reversed time, but because I stopped being at war with my body. This isn't just physical healing, it's emotional liberation. And it's waiting for you the moment you stop hiding and start listening. Part 11, final recap and action plan. Own your health. Protect your future. Let's bring everything together. Because now you don't just know, you understand. And with that understanding comes power. The power to act. What did we learn? Your prostate is not passive. It's a dynamic, self-regulating gland. And it requires consistent use to stay healthy. Ejaculation isn't just for pleasure. It clears inflammation, balances hormones, and refreshes cellular fluid. It's like cleaning your engine from the inside. After age 40, your risk increases. But so does your opportunity to take control. Regular sexual activity with a partner or solo is not something to be ashamed of. It's something to be respected, honored, protected. Your weekly action plan. Ages 40, 50, 3 to 4 releases per week. Focus on balance, rhythm, and awareness. Ages 50, 60, 2 to 3 releases per week. Combined with pelvic exercise, hydration, and checkups. For adults over age 60, 1 to 2 releases per week. Consistency, intensity, listen to your body, never abandon it. Lifestyle anchors. Anti-inflammatory food, daily movement, stress reduction, 8+ glasses of water, yearly PSA check. No more shame, no more silence. Because here's the truth. Most men don't fail from disease. They fail from denial. They wait too long. They ignore the whispers until it becomes a scream. But you heard the whisper. You stayed. You listened. So now it's your move. Part 12, cinematic outro, the 70-year-old's regret. Last week, a 70-year-old patient sat across from me in silence. His eyes didn't move. His hands were shaking. Then he looked at me and said just one sentence. Doc, I wish someone had told me this 30 years ago. Not because he had cancer, not because he was dying, but because he had spent 3 decades ignoring a part of his body, a part of his identity that was silently screaming for attention. He followed every rule, worked hard, provided for his family, held in the shame, swallowed the discomfort until one day it was too late to reverse the damage. And then he asked me, how many other men are walking around like this? I looked at him and said, too many. This message is for them. And for you, if you've ever felt unsure, if you've ever felt embarrassed, if you've ever wondered, is this still normal for my age? Let me give you your answer. Yes, it is. It is normal to care for your body. It is powerful to understand it. It is courageous to speak about it. And it is never, ever too late to protect what's still yours. Because this is not just about your prostate. It's about your future, your freedom, your dignity, and your decision to not end up like the man who said, I wish someone had told me. Now someone has. So what will you do with it? If this video spoke to you, share it with another man. You might be the only person who ever tells him this truth, and it could change his life